Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we're going to decode the Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam, or CKA. We're going to break down what makes it so different from other certs, solve a few real-world exam tasks together, and then map out a clear path to help you pass. Let's jump right in.
You know, this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The whole point of studying isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about replacing that pre-exam stress with real confidence, knowing you have the skills to perform when that clock starts ticking.
So, what's the big deal with the CKA? Why does it have this reputation as a true test of your skills? Well, let's break down what makes it so different from the IT certifications you might be used to.
Okay, this right here, this is the single most important thing you need to understand. There are no multiple choice questions, no fill in the blanks. You are dropped into a live command line with a set of real problems to solve. It's a direct test of what you can do, not just what you know.
This slide really drives the point home. A traditional exam is all about recall. The CKA, on the other hand, tests your actual operational ability. Can you really diagnose a failing pod? Can you configure storage when you're under pressure? And can you do it fast and, more importantly, accurately? That's the challenge.
All right, so let's get into the logistics of the exam. You know, knowing the rules of the game is the very first step in building a winning strategy. You get 120 minutes, 2 hours. Now that might sound like a lot of time, but trust me, with a whole series of hands-on tasks, that clock becomes your biggest enemy. Time management isn't just a nice-to-have skill here, it's absolutely critical for passing. You have to be efficient.
The passing score is 66%, and this tells you something really important about strategy. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. It means you can actually get a third of the questions wrong and still pass. Knowing that lets you strategically skip a really tough question if it means saving time for others you know you can nail.
The exam is broken down into these 5 main areas, and they basically cover the entire life cycle of a Kubernetes cluster. You'll be tested on everything from the initial setup to running workloads, networking, storage, and of course the big one, troubleshooting when things inevitably go wrong. So any good prep plan has to cover all these bases.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty. Honestly, the best way to understand the CKA is to see what the tasks actually feel like. So let's walk through 3 pretty common questions you might run into.
First up, a real classic, configuring a horizontal pod autoscaler, or HPA. This is an absolutely core skill for managing how your applications scale in Kubernetes.
So here's our prompt. We need to create an HPA for the Apache server deployment. The main requirements are pretty clear. Target 50% CPU usage and scale between 1 and 4 pods. Easy enough, right? But there's a little catch that makes it tricky, and that's setting a stabilization window, which you can't do with just one simple command.
And this is where efficiency really matters. The fastest way to do this is a 2-step process. First, you use kubectl-autoscale to create the basic HPA. Then, you apply that special stabilization window using kubectl-patch. And the last step? This one is non-negotiable. Always, always verify your work with kubectl-describe HPA. Never just assume it worked.
All right, let's tackle question number 2. This is a classic troubleshooting scenario. Being able to find that one needle of information in a giant haystack of logs is a critical skill for any admin.
Okay, so this task is all about precision. We have to grab the logs from a pod named foo, pull out only the lines that have a specific error message, and then write just those lines to a specific file.
The solution here is a beautiful, efficient one-liner that combines kubectl with standard Linux tools. First, you make sure you're in the right context. Then, you just use kubectl logs to get the output. You pipe that to grep to do the filtering, and then you use that little redirect operator to write it all to the file. It's fast, effective, and it shows you're fluent on the command line.
Okay, for our third and final demo, let's tackle a storage task. As an admin, you get asked to audit and report on resources all the time, so this is a really practical skill to have down cold.
So again, the task is super direct. We need a list of all the persistent volumes, the PVs, sorted by their capacity, with the whole output saved to a file. The key here isn't to write some crazy script, it's knowing the built-in kubectl feature that does all the heavy lifting for you.
And this solution is a perfect example of the power of kubectl. There's no need to overcomplicate things. You just use the standard kubectl getPV command and add the -sort by flag.
The only real trick is knowing the correct path to the field you want to sort by, in this case, .spec.capacity.storage. After that, a simple redirect saves the output. Clean and super efficient. So, we've seen the challenge, we've solved a few sample questions, now for the most important part. How do you prepare to do all of this yourself, under pressure, on exam day? You see, effective practice for the CKA isn't like reading a textbook. It's more like a workout. You are literally building muscle memory, so when you see a problem, your fingers just know what to do. It's about practicing that whole loop, reading the task, executing commands, and verifying the result over and over until it's second nature. And this might be the most crucial piece of advice in this entire explainer. You have to practice in an environment that feels like the real exam. That means having a timer ticking down, a clean command line interface, and a bunch of tasks that really push you. This is how you build the mental stamina, not just the technical skills.
So the big question is, where can you find an environment like that? I mean, you could build your own clusters, but for a much more structured, exam-focused prep, there's a tool that's designed specifically for this.
The simulator from Certification.com is built to mirror that CKA experience. It gives you that timed environment we were just talking about with a huge bank of questions to work through. This lets you build speed, figure out your weak spots, and just get comfortable with the whole format. It even has things like a mobile app for reviewing on the go, making it a complete workout plan for your CKA prep.
Look, the CKA is a tough certification, but it's also highly respected for a reason. With the right kind of hands-on practice, you can absolutely walk into that exam feeling calm, confident, and ready to show what you know. The only question left is, are you ready to get started?